Hello. So I'm Joy Lyons. I'm an alum from the acoustics program here. I graduated in 2006 with a master's. Studied with Dr. Bradley and Dr. Culver in acoustical oceanography. So Harman, you guys may be familiar with Harman through audio products on the consumer side, but I'll give you an overview of, here we go. I'll give you an overview of our various businesses. Sorry, I have two masks on. Maybe that helps a little bit. So we have three different business divisions. So we have our what we call lifestyle group, which is mostly focused on audio products across sort of all sorts of industries. We have a more specific automotive group that does technologies that you may not be familiar or you may not associate with Harman. Those are mostly non-acoustic, but I'll just go through so you can have a sort of understand the breadth of our different engineering disciplines. I'll talk about a couple of acoustic research areas that are maybe in my group or affiliated with more of the research groups. And they are specifically selected because we have job openings in them. So let's go ahead and get going. So lifestyle. These are premium branded audio. So this would be JBL. This is your Harman Kardon. This is your Revel, AKG, and whatnot. And so that extends from your consumer products that you might have at home or on the go. These might be studio devices. These might be large stadium devices. And so you're talking about wide ranges in power and capability and whatnot. There's even lighting and sound through Martin, for example. Sound management systems like the BSS for doing networked audio over either within a commercial building or even in a stadium as well. And of course, entertainment venues. So this is, I guess, generally in the acoustics. This is mostly acoustics, and also, of course, automotive. I should mention, of course, automotive. So there's product side, and then there's also research side as well in all of these areas. In automotive specifically, excluding acoustic or audio developments, again, this isn't necessarily for this audience, but might be interesting. We have automotive cybersecurity. We have ADAS, which is a assisted driver system. So, for example, this is sort of watching the road with sensors, or also even watching the driver for drowsiness and whatnot. And advanced displays. So Harman was purchased by Samsung in, I believe, 2017. So we have access to all the display technologies. Digital cockpit, the pop-up screens that some people have in their cars with the sort of user interface with push buttons and whatnot. So all the software associated with that and user interface and interactions. We have a large cloud presence for over-the-air updates and whatnot. Telematics and 5G, and vehicle to other communication and even conformal antenna design. So you may not associate these technologies with Harman, but we do have a large number of people working on these sort of forward-looking automotive technologies, in addition to sort of advanced acoustics on some of the systems, and then also just sort of general everyday engineering that you might have to get the products out the door. We have another division called Digital Transformation Services. This one's just basically, we have a large number of software and hardware engineers. We work with a lot of partners, and so we have this large pool of resources that we can incorporate to support our projects internally. And then we also do a lot of support for external partners as well. And we own a design firm called Human that we acquired not too many years ago that does a lot of user interface and interaction in industrial design. But of course, we do hardware engineering, software engineering, cloud mobility, data, Internet of Things, and scalable IT platforms as well. Okay. I also apologize that this is a little bit salesy, but, bear with me. So Harman, we're in 32 countries. We have a lot of different brands, so a lot of times people don't associate Harman when they hear that. They don't necessarily think of JBL. They don't necessarily think of AKG. Or if you're in automotive, we also do the automotive solutions for Bang & Olufsen and B&W as well. So really a lot of different brands that also roll up under the Harman umbrella. We have over 15,000 engineers, and we're in over 50 million cars as well. Because we work in audio, and audio is fun and entertainment and whatnot, we have 2 Academy Awards. 3 Grammys and the like, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so on to a little bit of research. There's research that happens all over Harman. Specifically, the group I'm in is called Harman X, so we're part of the corporate research function. So what that means is, for those 3 business units, we support and we try to do technologies that are maybe 2 to 3 years in advance and sort of bring them to some level of maturity that we would then take to the product teams, and they would think about how to incorporate that into their very specific vertical. So that's specifically Harman X. And then the group I'm in within Harman X is called Intelligent Audio. And within that group, my group is the acoustics group. So, welcome to business hierarchy. So there's other places that research gets done. There's a lot of research that happens more closer to the product teams and whatnot, where they might, specialize in automotive only or consumer only as well. So topics that are of interest to me and my group specifically. We have science of sound, so we do a large amount of perceptual audio research. So we need to set targets that are going to be meaningful. So when we ship the product and we get a review, we need to know before we ship it and invest millions of dollars that people will actually like it. Immersive audio is a huge focus. Audio systems, simulation tools, and data, AI and ML is also very interesting as it relates to acoustics. So what you see here are maybe a couple select projects. So how we get judged in terms of research, within Harman, is our ability to move sort of new ideas from this sort of inchoate, we don't even know if it's going to work, sort of idea, and get that transitioned into actually shipping and out the door and, millions of people using it. So in the last couple years, we've had a concerted focus on immersive audio. And so what you see here is the Hyperion Spatial Lab, which is an array of speakers where we take a lot of different types of measurements. And we can also do sort of a playback of different sounds. And we're doing a project right now with Dr. Vishant's group on spatial audio. So we are doing some perceptual testing with them. And then, you can see the sort of 2 pictures sort of on the left side, sort of transition into products and what that looks like when we ship it. So you see a picture of, for example, the Quantum One, which is a gaming headset that we launched last year. We shipped a whole range of about 7 to 10 products that incorporate some of the research that we had started out maybe 3 years ago. And then on the bottom, there's a CBT array, which is a constant beam technology, which has 24 transducers in a tapered array that has a really well-controlled vertical beam width. And so you can see how that might start in the research group, where we might have to go through and design the systems. We have to design the MATLAB software to do the simulations, and then create something that's mature enough to hand off to the product team such that they can actually manufacture it. So also, this isn't within my group. This isn't within Harman X. This is more within the automotive group. So there's a Halo Sonic team. So I think we had an intern, Max, from the program here, who helped out at that. So shout out to Max. Also shout out to Zane as well for spatial audio. So what this is ANC for the automobile. So this is road noise cancellation. This is sensors, engine order cancellations, and then how that might get played back within the car cabin, which has very unique acoustics, a very reverberant environment, a lot of very complex things happening, and then incorporating that into the audio system to do active noise cancellation in the vehicle. And that's also currently shipping. I think what we see here is a Genesis system. So these are current things that have shipped maybe in the last 12 to 18 months or so. And that sort of leads to some open positions. So, there's 15,000 engineers at Harman. So if you always go to the job portal, if it's not a good time for you right now because you're not ready to graduate, there's jobs at harman.com where you can look, for open positions in acoustics. But right now, sort of a curated list, there's 3 open positions right now that are associated with some of the topics that we just talked about. So we're looking for a senior audio DSP engineer, and that's in the Northridge facility. That's Harman X. So that's within the group I operate within. It's not reporting to me, it's reporting to one of my peers. but works, on sort of technologies and sort of audio systems and DSP. DSP is kind of a weird word because I think it means something different to every candidate I talk to. But I think, the background here in terms of having a really solid understanding of how to work with acoustic and time signals is important. And having good understanding of sort of audio and what's, have some background in the music would probably be very, very helpful for that type of position. And then some other sort of affiliated divisions would be the Halo Sonic Group is looking for a senior and principal engineer, and they work again on the ANC for automobiles. And there's a senior principal engineer for DSP and UX software, and that's at Epic, which is also focused on automobiles, probably more focused on concept cars related to audio. Yeah. So if you're interested in these positions, you can talk to me later this evening, or because I'm not the hiring manager on these, you could also email Michelle, who is a recruiter for these positions, and she can get you in contact with the hiring manager, or you can apply online. But I'm also more than happy to talk to anyone and put in a good word. So, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joy. Any questions? Oh, I'm going to hang around the mic just in case. About the job openings or the research going on that.
I don't think I could answer them if there were. Right.
I just have a general question about active noise control. I mean,
Sure.
Those of us that have been around a while remember when it went through its huge boom, like back in the 80s and 90s, and then it kind of trickled away. I mean, and you see sometimes these sort of technology curves where there's a huge increase and it goes away, and then the good ones come back in some sort of practical form. Is that happening for ANC? Are you guys really, I mean, obviously you got the car you're thinking about. How much traction do you think ANC has for real practical work?
I think you see a lot of trends in automotive. I mean, I don't think it's a secret that, autonomous driving vehicles is coming back, and then a lot of people are reimagining what happens in the automobile at that point. So, previously, if you're driving, you really want to be connected to the road. Some people like to hear the sounds and kind of get that feedback from the road in terms of what the condition might be from the tires. If you're no longer doing the driving and you're watching a movie, you're trying to have a conversation, it starts to become a sort of different context for what you might want to have in the vehicle at that time.
Okay, yeah, so it's an enabler.
Yeah.
Neat.